mean, I just think we have the best. We have all the stuff that everyone likes about those areas, but our weather's even that much a little bit better because we're more south. And we're, I mean, San Diego, I think it's just getting started, to be honest with you. I mean, I just don't foresee how it could go down a lot
Yeah.
in the near future.
So let me pose this scenario to you. I am a 23-year-old VA eligible service member, and man, I am so glad I got stationed in San Diego. Um, I want to make money. I wanna be able to, live the lifestyle of my dreams in the future. Then, but right now I want to party, and I'm looking at houses, and I don't think there's anything in Gaslamp uh, that I can afford.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Get something. I know you want to be in Gaslamp, and that's fine. But go there on the weekends and enjoy an Uber back home. Get something in East County. Get something where you can get it. Get your pre-approval. See what you can afford. And if you can swing the payments, we can find something that you like and you want to buy it. You fucking buy it. Get it. Get something in San Diego before it's too late. Because to be honest, I think this is like the pause before the next upswing.
Welcome to Real Talk with San Diego Steve, where we're on a mission to empower first-time home buyers, investors, and the San Diego military community. Our goal to provide you with actionable insights and strategies to achieve financial freedom through real estate. So each episode, we spotlight inspirational stories to give you a tool for your real estate toolbox. Whether you're just starting out or looking to elevate your real estate journey, you're in the right place. I'm Stephen Bernard, your favorite San Diego agent and investor, and your host. And today we have the legend Ben Biggs of the District Group, who has one of the most unique journeys into real estate that I've ever seen. From business to Navy to real estate, Ben's non-traditional mindset yields non-traditional results. So let's welcome Ben Biggs, and thank you so much for being here today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, when I was looking into you, I was astonished by the uniqueness of your journey to where you are right now. Um, Starting out with your own business, then doing the whole Buddhist thing, then joining the Navy, and now empowering people, running a small team as a part of the District Group. So why don't you tell people that journey? Because I think it's inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And it's one of those things where, our lives end up being like an amalgamation of things that we didn't intend on happening and when you look back, you can kind of make it make sense. But in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of it, we're like, make it make sense. Right. But yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I've been very lucky in my life that I've always had mentors, or at least I've always sought out mentors. I'd always felt like I wanted to do more. I'd kind of I would say maybe a troubled upbringing. I had my parents split when I was young, and that led to me moving back and forth all across the country, maybe 10 different states, multiple cities inside those states. So, and, financial challenges and all the rest. And it was, at times struggled to find the identity as a kid. So I wanted to, I knew that I wanted to be successful as a young kid, and I knew somehow, and kind of intuitively, I knew that I needed to find a mentor. Somehow, I got on that bandwidth that frequency that I wanted to mentor. So I got I got a job at 14 as a dishwasher, and the owner of that restaurant kind of took me under his wing as like a mentor of mine. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, I've always had a mentor, and I've always kind of gravitated towards the self help material and the self help kind of beliefs, and that's what led me into wanting to start a career in IT. I got A+ certified when I was like 16 years old, and I wanted to go into IT work, and that's the path that I was on. I was in college for information technology, hated it, absolutely hated every second of college. I dropped out as fast as I humanly possibly could. Um, the owner of that restaurant actually ended up, and because I had so much respect for that dude, and he was my first mentor, he brought me aside when I was like 18, 19. He was like, Ben, I got an opportunity for you that because I think you have a lot of potential that I want to share with you. And guess what it was? It was network marketing. So, do you remember Quickstar?
No, I don't actually.
Do you know Amway?
Yes.
So everyone knows Amway. So back for a while there, they had a rebrand to get away from the Amway name because I guess
Hmm.
for whatever reason people don't like the Amway name. They think it's the scammy thing, and they were labeled as Quickstar. And I had no idea it was Amway. Even my mentor didn't know it was Amway. No one knew it was Amway. They totally completely rebranded, and he got me to start an Amway business basically. And
Mm.
I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug at about 18, 19. And for me, it was like as soon as I started attending the meetings, I started going to the trainings, and it's very inspirational. It's very entrepreneurial. I mean, knock network marketing or multi-level marketing all you want. There's some really serious people in that game, and there's some really really good training. And if you want to bootstrap your way up into being an entrepreneur, but network marketing is like it's like the do-it-yourself kit, right? I mean, it's so. I literally dropped out of college. I was in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, which is a small ski town. I had a full
Mm.
ride. My grandparents were paying for my college at that point. And I said, I can't do it. It's not for me. And I dropped out, moved down to Denver. Completely, my family just totally cut me off. No financial support, no nothing. No, just totally had a
Mm.
huge fight with my mom and my stepdad at a Chinese restaurant and just walked out. And they were like, "You're going to be some Amway boy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And I dropped out and went down to I moved down to Denver and just rented the cheapest apartment that I could find that would take me, and slept on the floor and just started working at Verizon and Staples and just slinging phones and trying to build an Amway business for a couple of years.
And where did that take you? What did you learn while you were in that season of your life?
Yeah, so I mean that was a brutal, brutal, brutal time, but it was also so beautiful because I knew intuitively that I was very young, and I was like
Hmm.
19, 20, rolling around Denver as this like trying to um, trying to become this business owner, and I
Hmm.
was identified by the Quickstar leadership early on as like the hard charger, like the young buck up and comer. And so I got pulled into a lot of the backroom meetings and I actually started to do some decent numbers. I never made much money with it, but I actually was like starting to get it and kind of starting
Hmm.
to click. And I was in Amway for a year, and then I switched over to Zuri. There was my upline situation kind of collapsed in Amway, and then I switched over to this company called Zuri with another mentor that was a similar MLM, and it was like a vitamin beverage type thing, whatever. And I did that for a year. So I was in 2 years in Denver total with MLM. And then I had two or three other companies that I was trying to start as well. I had a partner that I had a social media company. It was his idea. It was a social media company for businesses, kind of like a before LinkedIn or like somewhat of like a LinkedIn. It's called Buzz
Hmm.
Herd, and it was like you create the buzz around your herd, which is your business, and it's really
That's
unique.
quirky.
The website
Yeah.
would be up, but I did that. I had another friend that I was doing a graphic design company with and like lifestyle design. So a couple traditional companies along with MLM, but in total it was about four companies that I dabbled with, not knowing what the hell I was doing at all. And just went to a ton of trainings, ton of like conferences, a ton of events, ton of like read a ton of books, got bit by the reading bug, started picking up personal development and leadership books and started getting into fitness, I lost a bunch of weight and doing the 5 a.m. stuff. I read this guy Robin Sharma has a book called the 5 a.m. Club.
Mm.
It's a phenomenal book, and he's been writing for 20 years, and I picked up his material. So this was like 2006, and I was all on that. Now that's like super popular. Everyone's doing the early morning routines, and everyone's all jazzed up on that now. I was doing that before Instagram, so that was what I was doing. I
Before it was cool.
analog. I was doing it the analog way, just reading, going to Barnes and Noble, picking out a book, and reading what the dude said and doing it.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then that all kind of so I learned a ton, grew a lot as a person, kind of found my way into entrepreneurship. Then that totally came crashing down brutally. I completely ran out of money, and I actually ended
Mm.
up totaling my car I
Oh
T-boned
no.
a T-boned a car at a stoplight because I was in a rush going to some real estate event, and I was looking down at my phone, and I looked up, and I had gone through the stoplight, and I totaled my car.
Mm,
And thankfully, the other car was fine; no one was hurt. But like at that point, that kind of really, I was in a really bad financial spot before that, and that kind of put the pin in it. And let's be honest, I could have figured my way around it. I could have grinded out of it, but I made a last ditch effort. Bought $1,000 Honda Accord that was like a 1992 that broke down the next day, and that was my last ditch effort. And after that, I threw the towel in after about 2 years. And my mom had lived near a Buddhist retreat center. My mom's a Buddhist, and she lives up in at the time, she lived up in this tiny little community called Red Feather Lakes, Colorado, and near there was a gigantic meditation center, and it's actually a really, really, really amazing place. It's called Drala Mountain Center now, and it's a
hmm
worldwide venue for people to come and explore wisdom traditions. So it's Buddhist origin, and they have the largest stupa in the West, Western culture. There, it's 108 feet tall, and it's a giant Buddhist monument. I'll let you check it out sometime, but unbelievable place. And I lived there for 14 months and did all kinds of retreats. And I did a 2 week silent retreat, and I did staff retreats, and I did a ton of meditation training. Went down the pathway that they kind of offer for meditation training, and I was like really, really into it. And I
Yeah.
and I started realizing that, and I started to make a kind of a home there. And I realized that if I don't, but I knew I wanted a career, and I knew I wanted a family one day. And I was like, if I don't pivot now, I was 22 at the time. I was like, if I don't pivot now into something and like finish, I knew I wasn't going to college, and I wanted to finish something while I was in my 30s. I wanted to have a check on the box. I wanted to
hmm
actually show that I was capable of like seeing something through, because college didn't work. The entrepreneur thing didn't work, even though I tried it. And I was like, I want to do something. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just join the military, see if I can use my IT background, and join the Navy. I did 6 years active duty. Yeah.
You were Aegis type, right?
No, I was a fire controlman. I was a CWIS
Okay.
tech.
Oh, Sea-Wiz. Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha. Very cool. I'm in the Navy as well. I
Oh,
don't know if I ever
you're
told you.
in,
Yeah.
you're in now.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
active
cool.
duty still. That's why my biggest thing was jumping into real estate. Exploring financial freedom. I did it while I was on. I was forward deployed for my first sea tour.
Okay.
Um, yeah, over in Bahrain, and I went down the rabbit hole. I realized, I reprioritized a few things. And got into the investing world first, and then realized that I wanted to kind of accelerate that trajectory because my values are aligned with spending time with my family to help. I have family around the world that I haven't been able to see in years, for one thing or another. Money's always an excuse. And I realized that's not how I wanted to live my life. Um, and so I got into sales because when I got to San Diego, I actually ended up firing my realtor.
Okay.
As a investor, I had a certain lexicon um, and understanding of the asset class, and I realized that not every realtor has that lexicon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and with us being such a big military concentration area, I realized one, I'm not alone in my prioritization of things or life goals. So I kind of wanted to be the person that I wish I had when I was going through my first transaction in San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so that's what brought me here. And that's really cool so you had this, I love framing life in seasons, and it seems like you had this growth spirit. You found what invigorates you on the inside. Then it didn't work out, and that's okay. And you're like, I need to. You became attached to the process, but what it was is kind of like a season of internal reflection and exploration. You must have gotten so in tune with your principles, with your beliefs, with fundamental values, with the kind of the guiding light that goes off into your future, that'll take you through the unknown, right, of life. and you came to a realization, it's like, okay, I've learned what I need to learn here. Time to pivot again. So when you got into the Navy, were you always just planning on doing your initial contract?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I had moments where I thought I had this romanticized feeling of, oh, I want to be at whatever X rank, or I want to do
Mm-hmm.
X amount of years, and there was moments where I was kind of delusional like that. But I think ultimately I knew that I probably wasn't going to do that, and I knew that it was a stepping stone. I really, to be honest, I just wanted to be able to get my college situation back on track, and I wanted to be able to save money and have training for a career so I could have my family one day. That was my main
Mm-hmm.
thing. I wanted a foundation because I knew I wasn't going to go back to college on my own. So yeah, I just wanted that foundation. But yeah, I mean, and now it's funny. Now that I'm out, I don't even have no interest or use for my GI Bill at all.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. So it was like a jump start season. It was like, okay.
Yeah. I had the entrepreneurial experience, and then that thankfully quickly didn't work out. Or maybe
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything happens for a reason, but that didn't work out, and I didn't languish with that, and I just moved quickly to the meditation thing, and I said, let me try this. I'll get rich later. Was there for 14 months and really loved it, but then realized I wanted to get moving with the next thing. And then yeah, I was like, I just made the decision. One thing that's been kind of a is this the right word? Like a boon? That's a good thing, right? A boon,
Yeah,
not a
it
bane.
can be. Yeah.
One thing that's been that's been a wind in my sails is my
Yeah.
ability to make decisions quickly and pivot quickly,
Mm.
and just no ego about it. I mean, I don't care, dude. I'll lose 100 times. I really don't give a shit. I mean, I like, you could make fun of me. I'll publicly admit that I failed, that I've sucked. That, like, I don't care at all. Like, because I know it's not about that. It's about that activation energy of, like, you can just start again. Like, you can just literally wake up the next day, put your feet on the floor, and make a completely new life in a matter of months if you really want
Mm.
to. And I just was like, I love pivoting. If something's not working, I like fresh energy. I want to be able to be honest
Mm.
about how things are going, and if it's not, just pivot, dude. Who cares?
So you're enthralled with kind of the process of like identifying the problem. Okay, how do I navigate my way around this? Instead of getting stuck on the obstacle, you realize there's always a step that you can take, and it
Of
seems like
course.
you're really good about evaluating those steps. So, uh, tell me about that transition piece. So you knew you were going to do 6 years. I assume the Navy's what moved you to San Diego. Why real estate? Why stay in San Diego even?
So you're just really quickly, I'm kind of curious. So you're in now. What's your rate?
So I'm actually a SWO. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
an officer type. Yeah, I'm a navigator by trade.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Gosh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Kicked
okay.
in the
Right on.
teeth. Yeah.
Are you on a boat?
No, I just finished all of my operational commitment. I'm on a shore tour. I'm a navigator for all the LCSs here on the West Coast.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was with LCS, and I'm still in the reserves. So I was with LCS briefly for a couple of years actually, and in my reserve time.
Okay, so you would have worked out of the same building as me over at
Well,
LCS Round
when
One.
I left, right when I was leaving, we had switched over to that building. So prior to that,
Okay.
we were in one of the old, beat up,
Yeah.
just disgusting buildings, and
Old Building 55.
yeah, and we were in one of those buildings, and we switched to the new building, and we were there for like
Yeah.
like one drill period, and then I got transferred, and I was like, well, that
Okay.
sucks.
Where are you with, or who are you with right now?
Now I'm with Third Fleet in Point Loma,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I went to
Very cool.
HSC 85 before that, so I was with LCS a while ago, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. Anyway,
That's
that's a
cool.
fun command.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. No, so what was the question?
Yeah. So I assume the Navy moved you here to San Diego.
Yeah.
And so take me through that new season of life. So what made you stay in San Diego? Why real estate? Where did the direction go after you got out? Or how did it go in the direction that it did?
I'll answer that, but what I will say before we move on to that is I want to touch on the piece that I think was really helpful for me, and this is going to link a little bit to veterans as well,
Mm,
or people struggle with mental health. So when I lived at the meditation center, when I was growing up as a kid, I got made fun of a lot. You know, I was kind of
Mm,
chubby, had a bowl cut in periods. I was a video game kid, and because of the constant moving around, I was never able to really stay in one place and make friends. And my dad wasn't really always there; was not a central figure per se. And I had
mhm,
multiple stepdads that had substance abuse issues, so I didn't have a good father type situation. So that led to me being dealing with some depression on and off, and dealing with some confidence issues. And and when I was at the meditation center, the period that I was there, I had it was actually during one of the staff retreats where I had and I can remember the moment actually when I felt like I had a really good breakthrough of like, oh, during the meditation, that made me realize that no matter where I'm at or what's happened to me in my life, that I'm going to be okay. That like my core is never going to change. Like this person who I am is who we all are, and that this kind of woo woo stuff. But it's like that core is like fundamentally good, and it will never not be that way. So
mm,
that was able to help me shift into better mental health, and was able to help me through a lot of like I probably wouldn't have gone down as healthy of a path as I went when I was in the Navy, because it was I was in Seventh Fleet and the Bonhomme Chart in Japan, and a very high op tempo there, very
mhm,
high op tempo. I mean, just going 2 3 days without sleep, very aggro environment, and so that was like that meditation thing was like major key for me.
mhm.
So I want to say that I want to just put that out there, because we'll talk about transitioning veterans and all that stuff too. But yeah, I just can't speak highly enough about that. So yeah, I was uh, on the ship. So let me take it back. So I left the meditation center. I literally enlisted into the Navy from the Buddhist retreat center, and to the many raised eyebrows of like the hyper liberals that live there, you know. So whatever. And so um, the guy came with the Navy branded car,
Oh no.
with the
With the
uniform.
door sticker and
Yeah, the door sticker, and he was wearing pinky ears to come pick me up at the center. And there were people that were telling me like, Ben, don't do it; they'll take your soul, and whatever. And I literally left from a 2 week silent retreat.
Mm,
The next day, I went to boot camp,
wow.
and so I was in Great Lakes for a year doing
Mhm,
ATT training for technical training, and then I was in San Diego for about 10, 11 months. So I'd never been further west than Utah.
mm,
And on your dream sheet where you pick orders, they had on there, which kind of system do you want and where do you want to go? And I said I wanted to be in IT type systems. I wanted to be like ACDS or Spy Radar or Aegis, something
mhm,
like that. That's what I wanted. And I put anything but CWIS because I don't like guns. Not like, I mean, I have guns. I am a pro gun guy. I've got a couple guns, and I'm not like, but I just at the time I was like too fresh from the Buddhist camp to be like, I just don't want to get my own big guns and stuff. I just don't. I didn't. I wasn't. I just don't. I don't. I don't want to do it. And and I put on there anything but CWIS, and guess what they gave me? Like
See what's
a smart ass detailer would. Oh, this kid doesn't want CWIS. Here you go, buddy. You know.
and for those that aren't familiar with the Navy systems, the Sea Whiz is that R2D2 looking Gatling gun
Correct.
that ships and the Marines use.
Yeah, close in weapon system,
Yeah.
and so they gave me CWIS, but at least they gave me San Diego,
Mm.
and I was on nights. So actually, it was a huge blessing because I was literally in school for like 4 hours a day, if that.
Oh wow.
I mean, I would go to school at 3 o'clock, 1500, and get out at like 6 or 7 for
I
like
hope no one
10.
from the schoolhouse listens to this.
Oh, yeah, they probably still haven't changed, but yeah, I was like living literally like a paid vacation for the entire time I was there.
Mm.
And I had no duty, I had no watch. And I had bought like a little Honda. And so I was just for 10, 11 months just driving around San Diego with my car, like going hiking, going to Gaslamp, going to the beach, just doing whatever I wanted to do on salary. And I was like, this is unbelievable. So coming from Denver, I love Denver. San Diego has all the stuff that we love about Denver, kind of the small town feel, big, big city, small town vibe, the craft foods, craft beer, all the different food scene, nightlife scene, but like better. I think it's even on a bigger scale. And I think I mean, Denver's amazing. I love Denver, but San Diego's got all that plus more, plus the hiking, plus the beaches, plus Mexico, plus LA is there. So, I mean, it's got a lot.
Hmm.
So I'd never been further west than Utah, and I got off the plane, and I have only ever lived in 100% humidity, 100 degrees, or negative 30, in the winter. Like I only ever lived in those two environments. And I got off the plane, and I was like upset that this existed and no one told me about it. So I went to the bottom of Shard in Japan from C school here, and I met my wife over there, and I said we're gonna come back. We're going to San Diego. Like that's it. And we moved back here after 4 years. I did 4 years in Japan, and then the whole time that I was this is getting to the transitioning veterans thing. So the whole time I was on the ship, just worked to the bone, working insane hours, just brutal, sweaty, dirty, hard work.
Hmm.
Um, I was thinking what I want to do when I get out. And I was planning it and I was reading constantly. I was always reading books and I was obsessing over it. I was watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts because when you're on a ship, you are like your life is down to like a very small like window of time where you can like do stuff for yourself. And so I was constantly just anytime, any free time I was reading, any free time I was listening to podcasts. And I landed on real estate because I knew I wanted to go back into business because that's
Mm.
where I feel like I'm a weirdo, dude. I have ADD. I just talk. I do random shit. I need to like be myself and do what I want to do. But I also need to make money to live. So I knew I wanted to go back into business, and I landed on real estate. I didn't think real estate before. I was thinking like I don't know. Me and my buddies were going to start this like jerky company. We were going to do like all kinds of random shit. I don't know. I love knives. Or like a knife company. Like we were going to do hats and custom hats and boots and all kinds of shit. And then I was reading Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad stuff, and I
Hmm.
started getting his material. And I was like, oh, real estate makes sense. And I started nerding out on real estate. And then I was actually going to become a commercial investor.
Oh wow.
Not
Jump right into it, huh?
Yeah, not what I wanted to do was syndicate. I don't know if you've heard Michael Blank.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, he's with Bigger Pockets.
Hmm.
So I'm a Bigger Pockets fan. I've been a pro member since 2014. I don't really go on there much anymore, but I went really deep into Bigger Pockets, like super deep when I first got into real estate. I listened to all the podcasts. I read tons of books. I was on the forums, interviewed a bunch of people, and I took Michael Blank's commercial investing course that when he just came out, it was like 2014. And back when he was barely even getting started. Now he's blown up. I watch him from afar now, like creep on him. The dude is crushing life.
Hmm.
But I was going to syndicate. That's what I was going to do. And I had all these whiteboards up in my house in Japan, and I was gameplay. I was like, right now, I was literally counting down the days to like when I was going to land in San Diego and start trying to find these deals. And I was going to go to C class neighborhood or I'm like B class neighborhoods and find the C class properties, and they
Hmm.
had out of state owners that had tax defaults potentially. And I was going to basically find these properties, tie them up, put a deal package together for investors, and take that deal package around and syndicate the deal. And that's what I wanted to do. And then I got out here and I started going to meetups and I started going to networking events and started talking to people. And I realized I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. A, and then B, I realized like this is not just this is big time out here. Like this is like there's serious money here, and you
Hmm.
don't want to just like I guess the phrase is to put it this way. It's like what I noticed was I've heard where did I hear this? I think I heard this from Tim Grover's book, The Relentless Book, where he was like, uh, elephants know if you're a calf in the room. Like the
Hmm.
other elephants know if you're not an elephant.
Hmm.
And I was so green and so fresh off of the boat that it was unreal that like
Literally and figuratively.
yeah, yeah. And so I was like walking around and I was like, dude, I got to level up first. So I bought a duplex
Hmm.
in San Diego. I got a referral for a really good agent from a really smart guy on my ship that was owned some properties in San Diego. made a ton of money in the stock market, like one of the smartest dudes on the ship, really, really, really smart guy. He lives in Arizona now. And I asked him for his referral about who his agent was, because I was like, whoever he picked for his agent would have been a really good agent, because I know he probably interviewed like 20 agents. He gave me Jeff Disher was his agent.
Wow.
Excuse me. And I talked with Jeff. I was in Japan on the BHR, and I talked to Jeff, and I said, "This is what I want. I want a duplex that's close to downtown, that's close to all the high rises, that's close to multifamily properties, so I can walk around." I thought I was going to literally walk to the multifamily units to find the owner. Like that's how green I was, and that's what I wanted. And like literally, I got pre-approved with my VA loan. Then literally like the 2 days later, Jeff shot me this property, and it was like from a guy internally in his office. It was like a hookup kind of a deal. That was something that Jeff like found for me. And I was like, that's it. That's a fucking property. Get it right now. I don't care. I was like, I don't care what you have to do to get it. Get it. That's my house. And the next day we were in escrow and closed on that in December 2015. And then, we moved out here in May 2016.
Mm,
I started working on my real estate license and started talking to people. And that said, let me start as an agent first, and I'll get to know
mm,
the market. I'll get to know the players. I'll get to know the game. And then I'll launch my investing career from there. And that was
mm,
7.5 years ago. And I still have not done that, because I kind of got comfortable now. Like I jumped into the agent game, and I found out pretty fast I was actually really good at it.
mm,
And I built a nice little sustainable business here that
mm.
I'm kind of really happy with the brand that I have. And so I'm kind of probably just going to continue to escalate that, and maybe I'll do some investing on my own on the side, but I don't think I'll pursue it on any sort of mass scale in the future. Not at least not,
Mhm.
at least not right now.
Got it. Got it. Hey guys, it's your break with San Diego Steve. If you're getting value from this real estate talk, please smash that like button, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with the smartest real estate moves in San Diego. Act now, and let's build your real estate empire together. And so, do you think this transition? I mean, it just happened to land on real estate. Did you take anything out of that time in service that you found like is helping you right now? Maybe a piece of your character that you didn't have before? Because a part of this, the impression that I get is like this is an innate Ben Biggs transition. Like the Navy thing was the jump start to get your life on the right trajectory into another vehicle, and that vehicle just happens to be real estate.
To be honest, what the Navy did for me was connections. It set me up with my platform, which was a community to identify with. It gave me some financial resources. I was able to save up a little bit. It gave me my VA loan, which was obviously massive and unbelievable benefit. And it gave me kind of a launching pad, is what it really gave me. I didn't, as far as like stuff like discipline or like sort of work ethic or stuff like that. I had that. That was kind of prior to, because I grew up. My dad was a traveling ranch hand, and so like I literally grew up scooping poop and like I got a job the day I could possibly. Like I got a job on my 14th birthday, which is, I mean, I've always had work ethic, and then what the Navy gave me more, I think, than anything was like some what I needed in life, which was life experience, like some salt. It gave me like it. It pushed me to my limit and caused me to become so bitter and like angry and tired and dirty and like it's not. It doesn't sound positive, but ultimately it is, and I think it's what I needed because I didn't let it affect my core. But like it made me what I call now professionally jaded.
I love that.
Yeah, because
I,
people, yeah, isn't that funny? Because
I
people, sorry, go ahead.
no, I relate to that
Yeah,
completely, wholly. I think it's honestly one of the strengths of our veteran community. If the reason why I think veterans attract to one another is because of the worldview of the understanding of you could have done anything in the military, and you would just have that. you called it salt, other people might call it grit, just that crustiness about you, because in a very, truncated period of time, our service members experience a lot of life
Yeah.
that most people take decades to experience.
Yep. Yep. 100%. 100%. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like it is the Navy was ultimately one of the best things I've ever done. I mean, it was
Hmm.
phenomenal for my life. It's one of those things. I'll say this: I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it's over because while looking back, it was great. But being on deployment, like being, I went on a bunch of underways, and 3 months in, 3 months out, 3 months in, 3 months out, 3 months in, 3 months out. I mean, the operational. I feel like I've spent 8 years, 7 years since I've been out, and I'm still catching up on sleep. I mean, it's like the level of like just tired that you get. Like I'm like it's a trade off because I got life experience, but I think I also got like
Years
other
off the back end.
years off the back. Yeah, so it's just, um, yeah,
And I want to also highlight something that you shared. A lot of veterans, myself included, go through a lot of mental health problems while they go through these kinds of things, and that's okay.
of course.
It's natural. Um, but something that you said is you didn't let it change your core, and I think that's the key. Get the help you need, or get whatever it gives you strength, and stick to that, because what you're going through, no matter how hard it seems at the time, eventually it will pass, and 9 times out of 10 you'll be better for it. And I think you being able to look inward and find that strength for yourself, and for others it might be the gym, for others it might be the book, for others it might be therapy, talking to friends, family, whatever it is, find that thing, because you're going on a journey that is lifelong, right? The Malcolm Gladwell talks about infinite games. You are playing an infinite game.
Hmm.
There, this season, this phase will eventually come to an end.
Yep, correct, correct.
Yeah. So tell me about being an agent. You said now you found yourself really you're really good at it. You have a really nice successful business. Everyone that I surround myself with talks very highly of you. But tell me about young Ben Biggs, the first year real estate agent. What were the kind of things that you did, that you succeeded with, that you felt that you now learned, and tell your agents that work under you that are brand new to the business, hey, do this instead of that?
Sure, yeah, yeah. So back to the mentor thing. I was very, very fortunate. When I started, I started directly with Jeff Disher. And
Mm,
so Anton, the guy that introduced me to Jeff, when Jeff sold me my property, I kind of saw the lifestyle that Jeff was living, driving the car. He had the luxury condo, like living the lifestyle that I kind of was like that I like the kind of that entourage life. Like, have you seen the show
mm,
Entourage?
yeah.
I love that show. So like that's kind of what I wanted. I was like, that's what I want. I didn't. I realized that the commercial investing thing was really more just because I wanted to be successful. I wanted to finally make some real money. And now it's funny. I think what I thought was real money back then is not. But I saw how Jeff was living, saw the path, saw the commercial path kind of being a different road, and I pivoted and I said, I basically said, Jeff, hire me because that's you have what I want, so you just hire me, like let me work under you. And he actually wasn't looking to even start a team at that point. He had thought about it, but I literally wined and dined Jeff and took him out to a bunch of lunches and stuff, and went to his office and basically forced him to hire me.
Wow.
And so we started the team together. So before I came on, it was just Jeff Disher, broker, selling homes,
Mm,
was top broker for 13 years before I met him. Then I came on, we started Disher Group.
mm,
Now it's been Disher Group, and that's kind of our brand. And I was working directly with Jeff very closely, and I still do to this day. So my first year, like I literally had direct access to Jeff, so I got to see his whole business, how it works. I was able to come in down into my business and really help me structure stuff. And so I mean, you know, that's what I would say. Find a mentor if you're going to get into
Mm,
real estate. Jump in with a team, because, or jump in with a top producing agent and force them to start a team, because the learning curve in real estate is substantial, and
mm-hmm,
it's hard enough with a really good mentor working with you every day. It's way harder by your own. Like I don't know how agents just start at Keller Williams, whatever, and don't have a mentor, because you're all over the place. There's so much you need to know about contracts, market, sales. I mean, I really do truly think real estate, being an agent, is one of the purest forms of entrepreneurship, because it's just you in a market and you just sell and that's it, you know. And it's like, yeah, sure, you'll have support from like Keller Williams, or your brokerage will kind of be there. They'll just still give you some training, but like you're in a market center with like 60, 90 other agents. It's just it's really, really hard. That's why there's like 89, 85%, whatever the figure is, failure rate.
mm-hmm,
So I struggled immensely in the very beginning. In the very beginning, before I was licensed, even I was starting to build my database, and then I got licensed and I struggled. I went down, I burned through all my cash, and I went about 50, $60,000 in debt on
mm-hmm,
credit cards,
mm,
with a new house, a wife and a new baby, and no income. And literally was like, got down to the absolute possible wire, and like literally on my like last month of credit essentially. And then boom, like my business kicked off. I got my first deal, and then from there it was like I was literally on USA Jobs, looking up jobs, looking at salary, like oh my god, like 70K a year, wow, that sounds amazing. And then like boom, my first deal hit, and then it was like bam, bam, pop, 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 and I went from like just not knowing what I was going to do to doing 11 million in volume my first year, and closing 21 deals and rookie of the year, and starting kind of kicking off my business. So
mm-hmm. That's awesome. You know what's funny, Ben, is this episode is going to air the week after Jeff's. So
oh,
if you want
cool.
to know what that episode, or what that structure is like, definitely go back and watch it. But something that Jeff said was the time horizon,
Yeah,
right? Because from what I can tell, and I'm on Donnie's team,
right.
and so obviously a lot of the things is transitive. From I was like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah,
It's you guys you're a giver. You give, you give, you give, and you're patient, and that's what I think. That's why you're an ultra marathoner, and you're not some agents are running 5Ks, because you're not just chasing check after check after check. You're developing the brand. You're giving value to other people. You're being real. You're being genuine and authentically yourself. And I also love that a part of your story is that, you know what, my back's up against the wall. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, it's time to fire off, and you did. So congratulations on that. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And I'll say too, one thing I want the viewers or whoever sees this to know is that this is something that I really preach a lot, is that um, this business is so hard to start in, but the rewards are amazing. And if you can make it through the gauntlet, it's totally worth it. But it's one of those things that you're going to look back on and you're going to think, wow, knowing what I know now, would I still do this? And know how hard it is. For me, I don't know. I don't know if I would do it or not. I mean, I have other things I probably could do that I could transition my skill set into now. But it is hard. But what I tell people is like this: people, the test is that feeling in your gut, that black pit feeling when your bills are low, when you don't know where income's at, when you don't know how your next client's coming from, and you don't know what to do. That pit in your stomach gets most people. It gets like
Mhm.
95% of people. It's an awful, awful feeling. If you know what I'm talking about, right? That like depression, that desperation.
It goes back to what the lesson you learned. It's like something is going to test the core of your
Yeah,
essence. No matter what the trial or the tribulation is, whether it's mental, whether it's financial. This is another iteration of that very same thing.
correct. And life is just nothing but one big test. But if you can just not pay any heed to that feeling and just keep going and just move right past that feeling,
Hmm.
you'll be fine. That because you will, like, who says this? I think is it Tom? Who's the impact theory guy? Tom, whatever. A bunch of
Yeah.
people. It's popular right now, but on a long enough time horizon, you'll be successful at anything. You just have to not quit. And I think people over dramatize running out of money or
Hmm.
running or being broke or going through hard times. They over dramatize it because like, look, dude, okay, I get it. It sucks. You get down to nothing. You have nothing left. You're late on your rent. You have no food. You have nothing. Eat some ramen, make a PB and J, and get some sleep and keep it pushing. You're not gonna die. You're fine. Just keep going. Drink some water. Take a shower. Get right back to work, and it will happen if you just keep going. You'll be fine.
Tom Bilyeu.
Tom Bilyeu. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, absolutely, you're right. I kind of want to pivot the conversation a little
Sure.
bit, because this is a lot for. I mean, this is a lot of life stuff. I want to recenter us back on real estate here in San Diego because we're going through a really unique time period. At least for the generation of agents that came to be in the last 10, 11 years. Most people have not seen a market shift. Most buyers and sellers that are buying their or selling their first home have never seen a market shift before. How are you tackling that? What are you advising buyers or would be sellers?
Well, I would say this. I'm I'm always bullish on San Diego. I see
Hmm.
what's happening. I'm here at ground zero in downtown the gas lamp with all the huge developments going on with the billions of dollars being poured in. I see what's happening. I see the lifestyle here. San Diego is a lifestyle play. It is not the Midwest. It is luxury. It is lifestyle. That's what people move here. They move here for the weather, and there's enough good stuff in San Diego, I think, to shield us from a majority of repercussions of bigger issues. However, so that being said, I'm always bullish on San Diego.
Hmm.
Um, I do think right now the market has a little bit of a case of mistaken identity. I think the market doesn't. I think that the market doesn't really know what it wants to do right now. We're in this weird freeze pattern of like rates being so high, it's kind of caused people to be deer in the headlights. So
Hmm.
we're deer in the headlights right now. Although rates ticked down like a tiny amount the last few weeks, like it's a nominal amount, but they did go down, and that it caused. And so we track inventory week to week, and that caused
150 sales.
right,
Yeah.
and it caused
Or
inventory
yeah.
to drop. And it's like so
Yeah.
what? Because it was climbing substantially,
Yeah.
and still our inventory here is tiny. Our inventory here is absolutely nothing, and that's a problem. I think no matter what happens, I just there's no in my mind there's no way out of this situation, at least for buyers, because look at Silicon Valley, look at LA, look at Santa Monica, look at places like that. That I would argue, if you look at Santa Monica, like or places like that up the coast, OC, that are outrageous expensive, and those are also lifestyle plays. Yeah, they might be a little bit closer to LA and tech centers and stuff. That's true, but a lot of that's coming to San Diego, and I just think lifestyle wise, um, city vibe, beach wise, I think we're undefeated. I just think we have the best. We have the all the stuff that everyone likes about those areas, but our weather's even that much a little bit better because we're more south.
Hmm.
And San Diego. I think it's just getting started. To be honest with you, I just don't foresee how it could go down a lot
Yeah.
in the near future.
So let me pose this scenario to you. I am a 23-year-old VA eligible service member, and man, I am so glad I got stationed in San Diego. Um, I want to make money. I want to be able to, live the lifestyle of my dreams in the future. Then, but right now I want to party, and I'm looking at houses, and I don't think there's anything in Gaslamp uh, that I can afford.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Get something. I know you want to be in gas lamp, and that's fine. But go there on the weekends and enjoy an Uber back home. Get something in East County. Get something where you can get it. Get your pre-approval. See what you can afford. And if you can swing the payments, we can find something that you like and you want to buy it. You fucking buy it. get it. Get something in San Diego before it's too late. Because to be honest, I think this is like the pause before the next upswing. I mean, I just don't logically see where a crash would come from. I mean, and I don't know. I don't, but even if I'm wrong, even if it does crash, whatever, it'll still rebound. Look at 2008. People that bought at the height of the market in 2008 are already well above. And people back then thought, oh my God, it'll never be this high. Never, ever. And look at it now. So I would say it's just, you're never going to be mad at yourself in 10 years for buying a property.
Right.
Never. I mean, the tax benefits, appreciation, everything that's there. It's just the smart thing to do. And the VA loan's amazing.
And I don't think that's coming, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I don't think that's coming from us because we are, salespeople. We run sales businesses, but rather understanding real estate as an asset class and a wealth building tool. And that's the key to unlocking it, is understanding the long term time horizons. Understanding that when you purchase a property, at least the way we generally structure our loan products right now, you're at a fixed rate payment for 30 years, right? The only place that payment can go is down, when the rate's lower and you refinance. Or if they go up, guess what? Your payment's going to stay the same. You know what is going to go up? Rent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a tagline. That's not a motto. That's a reality. That's
No,
a
it's just a
fact.
fact. I mean, that's the thing. And I run into this sometimes. I run into this sometimes with people. Well, I guess I don't. I don't know. I don't really hear that objection from anyone like, oh, you're just trying to sell me. You're just salesy, blah, blah, blah. Because I have my network marketing training. Remember, I was an Amway trainer. And so here's the thing. What did network marketing beat into my skull over all the trainings and all the different um, conferences? If you don't, and why are they so successful as a sales organization? If you don't believe in what you're selling, stop. Get out right now. Get out of that business. If you do not believe wholeheartedly that you would buy your own product and you live, breathe, eat, and sleep your own product, stop selling it. Don't sell it. So I'm so sold on real estate, on San Diego as a market. I have zero problem conveying that to anyone. And if someone doesn't believe me after hearing me talk to them, that's not my problem. That's their problem, and they're just not my client. So I mean, that's really it.
Yeah, awesome. Ben, I want to respect your time. I know you got to run. Is there anything else you want to say that we didn't get to touch on? I feel like I could talk to you forever. I'd probably have to
Yes.
book another call for you
Yeah.
with you in the future. But is there any last word you want to have?
Mm. Yeah, I would just say, go for your goals and don't be afraid to take risks. Risk is what got me everything in my life. And jumping, making leaps, not caring what anyone thought, and just believing that I'm a the ready, fire, aim method, while reckless. If you've got the energy for it, if you've got the disposition for it, do it. Just
That
jump and leap and make it happen.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Ben. Thanks so much. And where, if people want to connect with you, where can they get a hold of you?
Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Biggs.Ben. My preferred platform is Facebook. So just search me. You'll see me on there. My cell phone number, email is all on there. It's all public. Just Google me. I'm on Zillow, Ben Biggs, Real Estate San Diego. You'll find me.
Yeah, we'll link it all in the show notes. Well, thanks so much for your time, Ben. You were a spectacular guest, and I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you, Steve. It was great being on.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
see you
man.
next time.
Later.